Hey guys, did you know that I have a Patreon where you can support me and plus get awesome rewards? Or if you're thinking to yourself, but Julian, I want even more bang for my buck while still supporting you, you can pop over to my Redbubble and check out my awesome store with new designs appearing regularly. But for now, enjoy the video you're about to watch. Hey guys, I'm filming another unscripted little video. Today it is actually going to be a book review for a book that I finished like yesterday and didn't even get around to writing down notes for. So I'm just gonna go ahead and share whatever thoughts come to my mind about it. That book is Caroline, which is a retelling of the Little House on the Prairie story from the point of view of Ma of Caroline Ingalls. I read or had read to me many of the Little House on the Prairie stories when I was a child, and honestly I don't remember most of them, although I have to say when I was reading Caroline and they were kind of recounting the events that happened in the Little House on the Prairie books, or book, I think it only covered the first book, I was remembering. I was like, oh yeah, this happened, and then that happened. And oh, the river scene where they nearly lost the dog, and all of that stuff. It was coming back to me, memories I didn't know that I had. So that was cool, I guess. I really did enjoy this book quite a lot. It was a delightful piece of historical fiction. If you are, however, looking for an action-packed book, this is not it. There is a lot of detail, and I might call it unnecessary detail, of their daily lives, of her baking, of her washing, of her sewing. So while there are exciting things happening like fires and almost drowning and lots of encounters with natives, there's also that it can be very slow in places, which I did not mind because like I already knew what I was gonna get. I was kind of already on board for it, so I didn't mind that it was like slow sometimes. The character of Caroline is a really engaging one, and I love her relationship with Charles. Charles is really well reflected in this story. He has the personality of someone who just expects everyone to be good and he trusts people, and is just very sweet. Caroline is a bit more of a pessimist. She tends to be a bit more shy and nervous of people, and it's a really interesting dynamic between them. I love just the little details of their marriage, how they're still just like so into each other. Like she can just give him this little smile, and you know, these little silent conversations that pass between them is really sweet and really great to see. So if you were thinking, oh no, this book is gonna ruin Caroline and Charles because, you know, they're gonna like give them some dark drama or like family drama, it doesn't. They have a really sweet marriage, and I loved that aspect of it. Everything felt very well researched and very real. There was a little author's note at the end of the book. I love author's notes, by the way. Anytime anybody wants to like tell me about their thoughts and process during the writing of a book, I am so there for it. There's an author's note at the end that talked about the historical stuff that this book tried to fix from Laura Ingalls Wilder's version, because she changed some things, she fictionalized a lot of things to kind of flow and make a better story, and some of the things that Caroline attempted to fix. And while a lot of things are still very fictionalized, there's a lot more realistic stuff, especially to do with the natives, which I will get to in just a second. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that Mr. Edwards is too good for this world, too pure, and I absolutely love him. So, the natives. This was the biggest thing that struck me in this book. It really gave me the feels and really made me be like, I should probably do a review of this book because I'm just having so many feelings right now. They are going into Indian territory because they're in the midst of the government literally reneging on a promise to let the natives keep this land that is theirs. And it even says, like in the book, they literally say, hey, the government's reneging on their promise to the natives, so now we can go get some cheap land. And so it was really seeing firsthand from a settler's point of view, going out to this native territory and dealing with the people that live there, because it's theirs. And I really loved that aspect of it, where they just don't think about it. They just let themselves be emotionally separate from it. They don't really think of the natives as people they think of them almost as a pest, like, you know, coyotes or wolves or something that are going to get chased off of the land eventually, and they just have to tolerate them until they're gone. I appreciated Caroline's attitude towards the natives because she did have a pretty realistic attitude towards them. She was afraid of them. She was distrustful of them. She really wished that they were gone. And of course, that's terrible, but I appreciate that the book was very honest with the way a settler would probably feel about the natives. Charles viewed them far more as people than Caroline did, and he was inclined to like them. He was inclined to be hospitable towards them. One came in and just like had a meal with them, and Charles, even though they couldn't speak the same language, they were just kind of hanging out and smoking together, and I loved it. At the end, of course, the natives have to leave, and the scene where they're kind of just happen to be being marched past the Ingalls house, because of course they are, with all of these native peoples just being packed up to a reservation. I was getting teary-eyed. I was like about to cry at work, because I'm always listening to these things at work, and I was just so angry and upset by this thing that happened in our history, which this book did, I guess, a really good job of reminding me of, because I was very emotionally upset and unsettled by it. The Indians that they are dealing with are the Osage, and I have a lot of feelings about things that white people did to Native Americans. You as a reader are kind of cheering for the Ingalls family. You know, you want them to succeed, you want them to find this beautiful new home, you want them to raise crops and live and thrive, but you also understand that they are doing that by stealing from people that were already there. And you also get this really strong feeling that, like, if we had tried, we could have shared. The natives would have shared, and instead we just kicked them all off and took everything. And it just makes you wonder what a different world it would be if we hadn't have done that. Caroline was a really interesting and well done character. My only complaint might be the writing could be a little bit dense sometimes, in that the author definitely liked to use more words than were necessary, and sometimes it was noticeable, and sometimes it was just like, oh my gosh, just say what's happening, for the love of all things holy, just tell me what's happening in a normal way. But other than it having maybe more words than it needed, it was still a very enjoyable read, and I definitely recommend it if you like historical fiction and if you love the Little House on the Prairie books when you were growing up or now. And if you liked this book review, I have a ton of book reviews on my channel, so go check all of those out if you feel like it. All the links to my social media are in the doobly-doo, and I post new videos on Mondays and Fridays. If you liked what you saw here but wish it was higher quality, you can support me on Patreon, where at any level you will also get in-depth cat bios and other cool things that I feel like sharing with you, so definitely consider becoming a patron. And I will see all of you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time. Bye! Hey everybody, it is shout out time again. Time to shout out to my patrons, Amanda, Ashley, Celia, Kim, Lisa, Ramona, Sabby Panda, and Sarah. And if you want to be great like these amazing people, then become my patron over on Patreon.